Merhaba from VA. This is the Rorschach Turkey update from the 25th of June, 2024. A quick summary of what's going down in Turkey. The Council of Europe called on Turkey to release Selahattin Demirtas, the former co-chair of the pro-Kurdish People's Democratic Party, and Osman Kavala, a prominent business person. Both men remain in detention despite rulings from the European Court of Human Rights, or ECHR, demanding their release. Demirtas has been imprisoned on charges related to terrorism and inciting violence, while Kavala is accused of organizing the 2013 Gezi Park protest that started as a demonstration against the cutting of trees in the Gezi Park, but turned into an anti-government protest. He's also accused of involvement in the 2016 coup attempt. A rapporteur for Turkey from the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe visited Turkey to urge the country to comply with the ECHR's decisions. He condemned Demirtas' 42-year sentence and highlighted the lack of evidence in Kavala's case. The Council of Europe initiated infringement proceedings against Turkey for not adhering to ECHR rulings. Moving on to some news on housing, the government plans to lift the 25% rent increase cap on the 1st of July. While homeowners welcome the chance to adjust rents to market conditions, tenants are bracing for significant hikes in an already challenging inflationary climate. They are worrying about the added financial strain, saying that average rent prices have become higher than the minimum wage itself, currently standing at 17,000 liras, which is a little over $500. In other news, last Tuesday, the 18th, the Justice Minister issued an arrest warrant for Diamond Tima, a YouTuber, for inciting public hatred and hostility after his remarks about the Islamic prophet Muhammad. In a video on the YouTube channel Year 6 Film, Tima debated Sharia law and criticized Islamic prophet Muhammad's marriage to a 6-year-old girl. The minister stated that the ministry launched an investigation into Tima's comments, labeling them, quote, insulting, ugly, and provocative, unquote. This announcement drew criticism from opposition figures and bar associations for disregarding freedom of expression, while also mentioning he wasn't spreading misinformation about the religion and just stating the facts. However, the minister called these criticisms unfair, saying that Tima's remarks exceeded free speech limits. Meanwhile, Tima, who left the country due to threats, described the backlash as a smear campaign and insisted that his views were supported by historical documents. Earlier this year, Timur Cihan Timur, a 16-year-old underage driver, hit and killed a man in a fatal car accident. He then fled to the United States with Ilham Tak, his mother. After they fled, Turkey issued an arrest warrant and also requested their extradition from the U.S. for reckless killing and protecting an offender. 2 weeks ago, the U.S. police detained the two and placed Cihan Timur in a Connecticut correctional facility for minors. The U.S. court held 2 hearings for Cihan Timur, one on Tuesday the 18th and the other on Thursday the 20th. Despite Cihan Timur offering $2 million in bail money, the court denied his release. Users on social media slammed Cihan Timur's family, saying they couldn't pay off the court in the U.S., and jokingly said that they should have stayed in Turkey to pay off the court. On to politics. Özgür Özel, the head of the main opposition, the Republican People's Party, or CHP, suggested that Ekrem İmamoğlu and Mansur Yavaş, the Istanbul and Ankara mayors, could have won the 2023 presidential election against President Erdogan. A journalist reported this after meeting Özel, who criticized Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu's candidacy, saying that either İmamoğlu or Yavaş would have prevented Erdogan's re-election. Despite Kılıçdaroğlu's candidacy being controversial, and with some part of the opposition against it, the Nation Alliance, the opposition alliance with 6 parties, unanimously chose him as a candidate. He secured close to 48% of the vote, resulting in Erdogan's victory. Özel hinted that one of the 2 mayors might be the CHP candidate in the next presidential election. On another note, on Monday the 24th, Yalchin Ozbey, a key figure in the assassination of Abdi Ipekci, the editor-in-chief of the Milliyet newspaper, passed away in Istanbul. He had been undergoing cancer treatment for a long time. Back in 1979, Mehmet Ali Agha killed Ipekci in Istanbul. After the murder, a court sentenced him to death and put him in military prison. However, he escaped. Agha later attempted to kill Pope John Paul II in Vatican City in 1981, but only wounded him. While in an Italian prison, Agha said that Yalchin Ozbey was the one who killed Ipekci. However, Ozbey's connection to the incident was never uncovered. Ozbey fled abroad after the assassination, but returned to Turkey in 2009. He was never prosecuted. On to some news on the economy. On Monday the 24th, the Treasury and Finance Minister met with CHP's shadow finance minister. Shadow ministers monitor their corresponding ministries in the government. The meeting lasted 4.5 hours and focused on the opposition's economic proposals. The CHP proposed an interim raise for the minimum wage, increased pensions, agricultural support, and tax fairness. The shadow minister emphasized that they were against the government's handling of the economic hardships and expressed disappointment, noting that the executive stance remained unchanged. More on the economy. Earlier this month, the Finance Ministry announced new tax and income regulations. However, following criticism about how burdensome the new regulations will be, the ministry is now considering simplifying tax procedures for tips and courier earnings. Currently, tips are subject to income tax and value-added tax, or VAT, when paid with a credit card. To ease this, tips up to 10% of the service fee will be separately itemized on payment slips, collected in a bank account, and distributed to staff without VAT reduction. The regulation will cover food service businesses, including those offering delivery. Additionally, the ministry is working on supportive measures in labor and social security laws in this sector. The ministry is also simplifying tax requirement for couriers. Currently, couriers working independently must keep detailed financial records and pay various taxes. The new regulation will allow for a straightforward withholding tax, exempting couriers from keeping books, issuing receipts, and filing periodic tax returns. This applies as long as their annual income does not exceed 3 million liras, which is around $90,000. Their services will also be exempt from the VAT. As of Tuesday the 25th, the price for 1 liter of gasoline is expected to reach 43 liras, which is $1.30, up from 40 liras, or around $1. The government might increase the tax on gasoline, which will hike the price closer to 50 liras, or $1.50. On Monday the 24th, the Education Ministry held a dinner for representatives of unions and associations involved in education to discuss the new curriculum. However, the presidents of the Education Workers Union and the Education Union declined the invitation in protest of the religion-based curriculum. On Monday the 24th, a tourist spotted hand grenades near the shore of Eridir Lake in the city of Isparta and reported them to the police. The police closed off the beach and found 7 hand bombs in the lake. Fortunately, bomb disposal experts from the Istanbul Naval Forces Command removed the grenades safely. Reportedly, the police discovered 7 more grenades in the lake last month. Investigations are ongoing to determine who might have left the grenades. And to close this edition, the cliffs off the Antalya province in southern Turkey host one of the few nesting areas for the endangered Mediterranean monk seal, with only around 700 individuals remaining worldwide. These seals attract many tourists. Recently, hundreds of paddleboard enthusiasts have visited the area, increasing traffic in sensitive seal reproduction areas. Experts highlighted that these visits affect both the Mediterranean monk seals and the bats nesting in the caves. They warned that seal pups are dependent on their mothers, and the mothers may abandon them if disturbed. They recommended setting boundaries with buoys to protect these sensitive areas and ensure the seal's safety. And that's it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Are you a long-time listener or a long-time hanger-rounder in Turkey? Want to participate in the show? Well, this is your chance. We're looking for illustrative listener anecdotes or tips about living in Turkey to share with a community of listeners. So go for it. Email us at info@rorschach.com with some relevant subject line. Hoşça kalın.